Breathing is simultaneously one of the most difficult and one of the most important skills for swimmers to learn in freestyle. Hi, everyone. Andrew here, helping you help your swimmers get faster. Today, we're going to take a look at a solution for solving the breathing problem, which is known as paddle cap freestyle. It's one of my favorite ways to efficiently and effectively improve breathing. So let's take a look and let's dive in. Breathing is critically important in freestyle because where the head goes, the body follows. So if the head goes to the side, the shoulders are going to go to the side. And if the shoulders go to the side, the hips are going to compensate and go to the other side. And then the legs are going to go back to where the shoulders were. And so now when the head comes back, everything's going to reverse. So swimmers are going to start wiggling down the pool, which is going to create all sorts of problems. Just as importantly, when the head comes up to breathe, down go the hips, and that's like putting on the brakes. So poor breathing is going to lead to impaired alignment because of dropped hips wiggling through the water. Swimmers have disrupted their horizontal alignment because now they're swimming like that through the water, and they've disrupted their lateral alignment because now they're wiggling through the water. But it's not just an alignment issue. Poor breathing is also going to impair propulsion. So when the head moves to the side or the head lifts up, now the shoulders are out of position and swimmers are going to try to pull from an ineffective position. I'm sure we've all seen swimmers that just let that elbow drop when they breathe. And that's a direct consequence of the breath. And they're going to lose a lot of propulsion on that arm because they're missing the front half of the stroke, if not more. So good breathing is really important to great skills. It'd be nice if we could just skip the breath, but unfortunately, swimmers have to breathe for every event over 50 meters. So it's something that needs to improve. And to make matters worse, when swimmers get tired, they start breathing out of control, and that's going to kill their endurance as well. Sloppy technical breathing tends to lead to more frantic breathing. Breathing in freestyle is a fundamental skill, and it's one that needs to be improved. So what does great breathing look like? It looks like this. It's low, it's fast, it's straight. You can see that his head is not picking up. He's not lifting his head to breathe. You can obviously see his head is moving really, really fast, and he's not pulling his head out of alignment. And so low, straight, fast. Those are the three pillars of great breathing. And if swimmers can learn to execute all three, they're going to have a really effective breath. Now, this is obviously a sprint race. At longer distances, the same principles apply. You just might not see quite the same speed or the same rate of breath as you do in this context. Regardless, low, straight, and fast is what we're looking for effective breathing. So we've talked about why breathing is so important. Now we're going to talk about why it's so difficult to improve. So to have a great breath, it needs to be straight, low, and fast to minimize the impact of the breath. That presents a challenge because it's not just one skill that swimmers have to get down. It's really three skills, and then there's the skill of doing it all together. So there's a lot that needs to get done. It's not a simple action that swimmers need to manage. It's a complex one. The other issue is that small changes make a big difference, for better or worse. The challenge is that these small changes are hard to describe. How do you tell a swimmer to move their head 11 degrees less to the right? It's pretty difficult to describe, and it's even harder for swimmers to feel, which makes it more difficult and less likely that they're going to make that change effectively. Beyond the skill of breathing and from a logistical perspective, there are often a lot of swimmers in practice making many different mistakes. And so it becomes almost overwhelming to try to individually coach each of those swimmers, let them know what their specific issue is, and provide concrete and regular feedback to help them learn that skill. And lastly, swimmers are going to get air no matter what the cost. As they get tired, as the demand for oxygen increases, as they start working harder and harder, the skill of breathing goes out the window. Getting air is what's most important. And it's not just a discipline thing, that's a primal thing. We need air to survive. We're in a dangerous aquatic environment, and so swimmers are going to do what they need to do to breathe. And fatigue is usually going to lead to poor breathing because swimmers aren't going to have the discipline to focus on what they need to do well. They're going to do what they need to do in order to get air as quickly as possible, which doesn't necessarily mean it's the fastest way to get air or the fastest way to swim down the pool. So we've got a lot of challenges that we need to overcome in order to help swimmers breathe more effectively. One of my favorite ways to improve this skill is called paddle cap freestyle. And so what they do is they swim with a paddle on their head and they don't let the paddle come off. If they pick the head up, the paddle's going to come off. If they pull the head to the side, the paddle's going to come off. And so they need to be really effective with managing their head position, managing their breathing so that they can keep the paddle on the head. And when they can do that, their breathing is going to be effective. And when their breathing is effective, they're going to be able to swim fast. This activity is so useful because it requires effective breathing. Swimmers can't be successful by keeping the paddle on their head and breathe poorly at the same time. Just as importantly, it provides crystal clear feedback. Instantly, they know if they've done it right or wrong. And if they've done it right, they can continue to execute their breath in the same way, knowing that it's an effective one. If it's wrong, they know right away and they've got to figure out what to do. And so by using this drill, every athlete is coached at the same time because the paddle is giving them the feedback that you otherwise would have to give them. So instead of you telling them, no, lower head, lower head, lower head, the paddle just keeps telling them each and every time. And every athlete is going to get that feedback throughout the entire pool at the same time, each time they do a lap, without you having to do that. So it's coaching at scale. You get better results and faster results because it's clearer feedback, and the results take less effort because it's much easier for you to implement this as a coach as opposed to trying to coach 20 or 30 swimmers at the same time. Now, if you just have swimmers perform this drill, they're going to learn something. But if you start adding speed, you start having them change speed, descending, building. If you start adding stroke counts, you start adding different stroke rates, you add some fatigue, you change their hand postures because it's going to be a lot harder to manage their position if they've got closed fists, and you alternate it with swimming, so go doing the drill, then swimming, doing the drill, swimming. They're going to get a whole lot more out of it because you're not only going to be practicing the drill, you're going to be challenging it. And the more ways you can challenge it, the more swimmers are going to learn, and the more they're going to be learning in contexts that are similar to racing. Races don't happen slow and effortlessly. They happen fast with a lot of fatigue and a lot of effort. And so skills need to be practiced in that context in order to best show up in races. And so a great way to do that is to get better and better at this drill so that they can execute great breathing regardless of the context. And the only way you're going to do that is by turning it up and challenging the skills. Here are 2 sets for better breathing with paddle cap freestyle. The first one's going to challenge them with a little bit of speed. The second one's going to challenge them with a little bit of fatigue. So the first set, they're going to go 6 rounds through, 25 smooth paddle cap freestyle, 25 build, and then 25 descend 1 to 3, 4 to 6 by round. And then they're going to go 50 freestyle strong effort to finish. So they're going to execute really great breathing on those first 3 25s and then try to put it all together with that 50 freestyle that's strong. And so they're going to breathe left, right every 3 by round to challenge them with different breathing patterns because it's going to feel a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different, and they need to learn to execute in multiple contexts. Next set is more of a fatigue-based set. So they're going to start off with 100 freestyle, strong effort, breathe left, right by 25, and you can have them push that first 100 as much as you want. Then they're going to go right into a 25 paddle cap freestyle easy. Then they're going to go 25 paddle cap freestyle strong, then 25 freestyle strong, 25 freestyle easy. And so really excellent breathing, especially after that 100. They've got to be really good with that 25 easy, and they've got to be really good with the 25 strong, and then put it all together with the 25 regular freestyle. So you want to keep the rest periods really short. It's almost like a 200, and then after that last 25 freestyle easy, they can take a little bit more rest. So get them tired, put them all under a pressure, and then have them execute the drill. And that's going to help challenge their skills. So those are 2 simple sets that you can use to challenge them from a speed standpoint and from a fatigue standpoint. And if they can't even do a 25 paddle cap freestyle, then you know where to start. Just start nice and easy, get them executing it well, and then you can start turning up the pressure. So a simple way and a really effective way to help freestyle breathing. Hope that was helpful. And as always, keep it simple.